Hello YouTube. In today's video we're going to start fitting the slide to the frame, and we already know, hopefully if you watched my previous videos, that currently the frame is slightly larger obviously than the slide, and so we're going to need to reduce the frame a little bit. What I'm going to start with is the dimension of slide rails here in the back. So we'll measure that again. We're getting about 631 thousandths. And when we measure our frame here, where the slide is going to start, currently we're getting about 631 thousandths. What I'm going to do is polish the inside or the grooves first using stones. I'm going to take, I have a broken 220 stone. What I'll do is add a little bit of oil, and we'll start trying to keep the stone positioned completely flat. We're going to start polishing the rail. So we can take a look at how it looks, and it's starting to shine up very nicely, and it looks like it's shining up uniformly too. Now we'll go to 320. So now let's measure our frame. Six 1,305 10,000ths. Theoretically, the slide should be able to start on the frame when it comes to the inside section or the grooves. But the outside section will obviously prevent it from traveling further. So we're going to need to reduce those as well. Let's take a bit of this burr off. So burr left over from cutting the rails. Now let's measure. We'll see what we get. We are at 0. Okay. 759. Oh, sorry. 758. 758. 758. Okay. And when we measure our slide, now inside these grooves, we're gonna get what? 748. Okay, 750. 751 is what we're getting as the maximum. So we're shooting for 750. That means we're going to need to take off 4 to maybe 4.5 thousandths from each side of the rails here. And 4 thousandths is a lot of material to remove with stones, so I'm going to most likely use a file. What you can see here is that I put a file into a slide fitting file into the stoning jig by Matrix Precision. I have a stone in the back of the file. Because the file and stone will not move, I'm not worried about ruining the file or damaging the file because it's just pressed into it. On this one section there is a safe section, then in the middle there is a cutting or tooth section, and that section with teeth is just high enough to touch only the rail. Okay, so what we're going to do is start on one side, make sure that our rail is square, and push the frame back against the file. And I'm trying to keep the frame flat on the jig as I'm pushing it into the file to prevent it from wobbling and possibly taking the rail out of 90 degrees. I've now filed both sides using that jig. Let's take a look. 750, maybe 749 and a half, 750, and 750. So a little bit tight here in this area, but I may lap the slide a little bit. So now we're going to check the other dimension. We've already checked the front here, the rail. It should fit. This should fit. We've already measured our our rail here on top. That should fit. That should fit. So now let's measure the height here. We have 98 thousandths. About the same. About the same. About the same. 98 to 97 basically. Let's measure the opening here in the slide carefully. We want to get accurate measurement, or as accurate as we can. So it should fit. Let's see. Slide is definitely starting on the frame, but is not going far at all. Well, the slide wouldn't fit right away, so I've been using my file, slide fitting or rail fittings file, and basically working on the areas that that were interfering with the slide. You can see that I've been using some layout dye. You can see some remaining still, and gradually removing material where it was impeding slide going onto the frame. So far I've gotten the slide over to about here. This is where it stops. You can kind of see it probably on this side. You can see that line right there. The rail, my rail width was not enough for the slide, so I had to use one of the sides of the file, the flat or safe bottom basically, and this side, and essentially work on the width of the rail that way and then the other way basically to open up the rail slightly. And the slide is very tight right now. When it starts to go on to about there, I can push it all the way forward, but then I'll have to knock it off. So I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is lap it right now with probably 600 grit. I got some 600 grit compound, lapping compound on right now, and we're going to try to get the slide on and moving. So I'll be moving it back and forth, or trying to, just to kind of sand down the areas that conflict. And I'll probably start using a mallet or hammer. And now that I'm done with 600 grit, I'm going to use this diamond paste, diamond compound, and we don't have a lot of it, but we don't need a lot of it, so I'm going to squeeze a bit on here. Kind of make sure that it gets into the rail, on the rail. I should probably mention the reason why I'm not concerned about lapping this is because I want to Cerakote this pistol later, because this is chromoly steel and it needs to be protected. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to Cerakote or parkerize and then Cerakote, or just parkerize, but I am leaning towards Cerakote because I've never had anything Cerakoted. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not worried about lapping, and also one of the reasons why I think this pistol will benefit from a bit of lapping. Alright, now the slide moves smoothly, and you can see, hopefully, what the fit is like. It's pretty decent. So so far I'm pretty happy with this pistol.